and with the company called Alco Partners that who is a partner. Hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Sriram. I'm the founder of Spice Finance, a financial advisory company. I'm here to present some thoughts and my learning in this startup. Yeah. So everyone, I'm Danish. I'm currently working as an operations executive at App.
Thank you, everyone. Before we move ahead and begin the forum, I would like to take you through the event proceeding. A few ground rules for an effective meeting. Please put your phone on silent mode. Avoid stepping in and out during a session. Please wait until a speaker finishes their session. No cross talking during the meeting. A key point to remember: time allocated to a startup pitch is 10 minutes, followed by a 5 minutes Q&A round. Audience members are requested to wait for question and answer to ask their questions. Now to the meeting. The main goal of Startup Saturday is to motivate, inspire, and assist founder with insightful comments and helpful advice. Investment support from investors is welcome. The meeting will not only guide us but also educate us on a wide range of topics. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome our speaker of the day, Mr. Sriram Chidambaram, FCMA, GCMA, founder and CEO, Spice Finance. Sriram brings 23 years of financial leadership experience across a spectrum of companies, ranging from large multinational corporations to early startups. His extensive experience allows him to provide insights on solving finance and operation related issues. As the founder of Spice Finance, Sriram has had the privilege of interacting with thousands of startups and evaluating and aiding them in solving their issues, regardless of the scale. Welcome, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we'll keep the session interactive, right? I know each of you have introduced yourself, but I would like each of you to talk again. The question I'm going to ask is number one, are you an entrepreneur already? Number two, are you planning to be an entrepreneur in the future and you're studying currently? Or are you a second time entrepreneur? Right? Each of them, or if it relates to the fourth point, I would like each of you to talk. Yeah, I think you're already an entrepreneur. Fine. You want to be an entrepreneur sometime, or okay, nice.
Yeah. We ventured into business solutions.
Nice. Okay. Yes. You want to be an entrepreneur, okay? And you are currently a student and studying.
No.
Okay, fine. Okay. So, and what area do you want to be an entrepreneur in? Export import consulting, or no, you want to do exports? Okay. Okay. Yes. You want to be an entrepreneur, or you don't want to be an entrepreneur? You want to be an employee then, not an employer. You want to be an employee. Why? Why you don't want to be an employer? No reason. Okay. Fine. Yes. No, employer or employee? Employee. Why? You don't want to start your own company? Sure. So what? What was the intent to coming to this session? To understand what? Okay. So you want to, if I kind of ignite you, you're saying you want to learn something and then start your own startup, or no, not at all. Depends. Okay. Okay. What about you? Yeah. I know a lot of your students, but my question is, you guys want to be an entrepreneur yourself, or? So again, you want to join, work somewhere, learn industry.
Then some experience and
Got it. Any thoughts on what kind of a enterprise it will be? Got it. Got it. Okay. That's my turn. Here. I want to know how it works. Okay. Sure. Okay.
or now, which I want. It's related to our region and culture.
Okay.
So my idea is related. First, I want about how to explain better startup.
Future. Any timelines? Not at all. Okay. Okay. Let's start from future.
I want to be an entrepreneur.
You want to be an entrepreneur. What kind of an enterprise you're thinking?
Already associated with my friend in the business solutions company.
Okay. What kind of business solution?
We are just in the starting phase.
Sorry.
We are just starting. So
Okay. Yes.
I just want to upgrade my skills, so that maybe the near future I'll think of becoming.
Work as an employee and then become an employer.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I think I would like to start a venture
Someday. Yeah.
maybe on something on the lines of consulting.
What kind of stuff?
Not very clear, but if this is the career path that I keep continuing on, then probably startup.
Good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been in few startups before. We are ideating a startup.
So yeah, you're into that second or third startup on your own.
True.
Any learnings from your earlier startup you want to share? A quick,
Quite
quick.
many. Yeah, we failed earlier startups.
Okay.
We learned.
Very nice. Okay.
Hopefully, this startup will correct.
Sure. I keep interacting with a lot of second, third time entrepreneurs who say that, okay, boss, I burnt my hands as a first enterprise. I want to ensure that everything happens right. Good. Okay. Yes. Yes, my friend. So you want to understand more about the startups, but you want to be an entrepreneur yourself? You want to be a louder?
I do, but
Okay.
this side is the right student. So it's the right student.
Hmm.
Maybe sure. I will.
So which country are you from? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Okay. Good. Yes.
I have a travel agency
Sure. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
2008. We have been functioning from 2008, except for the 2-year period.
Yeah. You guys
my
survived.
Yes, we survived. My husband was running it, so last year only I joined.
Okay.
I want to know startups. He is more fascinated with startup.
Okay.
So he asked me to join this session. Asked me to get some insights.
Okay. Sure. I hope it should be insightful. Yes, my friend.
I'm running a retail store. I want to start my venture with scalable and I have full leverage, such as like FCMA. I'm here for learning of. And if I get any learning opportunity, I'm willing to work in startup.
Okay. So basically, you want to learn more. Yes. Learn more on what? Anything specific? Marketing, operations, scalability.
It's majorly I'm for networking here to get the contacts and
Important
all my
point,
process. If I get in any good company or any good team, I will work with them in our sectors.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
So, be an entrepreneur right now. Maybe after studies or when I get a job, then I get some experience.
So you want to learn yourself first and become an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Just first for the advantage, and have enough knowledge to become.
Sure.
If I have some knowledge, maybe.
Okay. Yes.
I want to know.
Okay. You're working somewhere right now, or
I'm a student. I'm studying.
okay. So you want to straight away become an entrepreneur? That's what you're saying. No.
Well, yeah, kind of. Think so.
Have some thoughts already?
Yeah, but I do have backup.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
Startups.
Okay.
Next year, I would be
Next 2 years, you want to start your own company. That's what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
studying and actually I'm pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can expand on
You want to expand to other cities. Okay.
session.
So, okay. Yes, sir.
I cleared the last.
Learn more about the startup ecosystem. Everything. Okay. And share your wisdom as well. Okay. I think I've covered everyone. Sir, you want to introduce about yourself?
I'm Ramaji Garda.
Okay.
So I'm an MBA student here.
Okay.
So I want to do something new.
Okay. You want to start something new.
Something new.
Okay.
A product I want to launch in training.
What kind of product?
In training.
That's it, sir. Yeah.
A leader kit.
You want to train others
Train others.
to become leaders.
Yes.
Yes, my new friend who has just come in. Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell me whether you're already an entrepreneur, you want to become an entrepreneur? Okay. So what do you want to do? You want to become an employer or an employee?
So I'm finding my paths where I
Still deciding. Okay, fine, good. Yes, ma'am. I think yes.
I am Dr. Madhu. I'm a dentist myself,
Okay.
and my spouse he started this technology company, and that is right now it's my husband.
Right.
He's currently out of town today, so I came on.
You
this
came to
behalf
fill in?
of- Yeah.
Okay, nice. So yeah, I hope we inspire you to become an entrepreneur. You're already an entrepreneur being a dentist.
But I'm more interested in my husband's company also at this point
To expand
because
further.
he was a hotelier actually.
Hmm?
So even his journey is all.
Okay.
I want to be a part of it.
Okay, 6 of them I know you are part of my team, but I want each of you to introduce to the rest of the team here and same questions. Yeah, start Harsha. The question is, you want to be an entrepreneur in the future? I know you are currently an employee, but what's your aspiration?
sent first one and space for finances.
I think you've already started, right? You run an NGO. Right. Good. Yes.
This is Sriram. So I want to start an
Like your friend.
yeah.
Okay.
Also maybe in future down the line of 15 years I'm going for
Can be candid. I'll not tell anything after the session. So
no, sir. Yeah, my plan is to first I need to so it's for the past.
okay.
That's it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So myself Avinash PhD licensed in finance training. So as of now there are such no time to start in business. Like in future I may so it's awesome.
Okay. Yes.
Currently, I'm trying to expand my set whether
Okay.
I'm right. And
Okay.
And as a question, yeah, I have actually started entrepreneurship journey.
Good industry.
I am
Very specific targets.
yeah.
Because that's more profitable.
No, I want to. I might not rely on something others have.
Okay, you want to make something.
I want to make something that I rely on and buy.
Never discussed this. This is the first time
Yeah.
hearing of. Nice. Okay. That's why I had to put them on the spot. Come on, you have to answer. Okay. Okay. Good.
So hello everyone, I'm Prasanna. Coming, I thought maybe not immediate, but I need. So once I get an understanding of what I would like. So regarding any thoughts on it, so as I'm into HR and all, I'm job seeking. But at times they do not know that pay comes. So we have a lot of jobs and I might work as in
Specific ideas out there. Okay. Yes. Gentleman in the maroon shirt.
On the spot.
On the spot.
Yeah, I'm Satish, co-founder of SpotMe's. We are providing blockchain, SaaS, and product designing service to our clients. We are in this sector from the last 4 years.
Okay, I think as the people trickle in, not get distracted. But yeah, so for all the first-time entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, I just want to start the session with 4 simple points, right? Very, very simple because each of you are studying, you might forget. I don't want to show that in large, big slides and all of that. So, point number 1, any founder, if you want to start something, you need to be a visionary, right? In the sense that you need to envision much more than what you're currently looking at. Let's say somebody spoke about the food business. So what exactly you want to do? How big is the market? What are the needs? Right? So I think what I'm trying to say here is, irrespective of the age you are in and the kind of industry you are in, you need to really envision what you want to really start. Right? It's not only near term, not 6 months or something, but you need to think beyond 6 months. Because I interact with many startup founders. They have a lot of ideas, but they struggle to kind of think beyond certain time, right? So I keep telling them that please envision a larger picture in the sense that whether it's a global market, whether you can expand beyond what you're currently looking at, you're currently working on one product, whether there can be a product line, right? Whether there is one service, whether there can be a service line for that. But it's a rockstar product you want to really do, can you expand globally, right? So the first point is always that you should be a visionary. When I say visionary, you should think big. You should think large. You should have a goal statement. You should have a good vision, right? That will help you to make a big dream out of whatever ideas you have, right? Is that clear? Number 2, I would say you should be a great storyteller, guys, because if you can't really talk and convince, first of all, your parents, because the first capital, any guesses on where the first capital comes if you're starting something? Yeah, of course, if you're married, your husband has to give, they don't have an option, right? Okay, other than married people here, where else you can get your money from?
Friends and relatives.
Friends and relatives. Okay, any other answers? Girlfriend, boyfriend? So, I think, of course, other than mother, everybody asks questions. I think mother will give, okay, I trust you, my boy or girl, so I will give it to you. But even father is going to ask you questions, saying, the boss, convince me first of all, right? So the point what I'm trying to say, second most important for all the students as well, right? Please keep this in mind. Second most important, thing you need to really remember yourself is that you need to be a great storyteller. When I say storyteller, you need to talk and convince others of what you're trying, right? Whether it's an idea, whether it's a product, whether it is starting a new industry, anything, right? Because you need to really convince others. You need to talk convincingly so that people know that there is a conviction in yourself, right? And that gets valid throughout the business, guys, because you need to tell stories. When I say story, it's not necessarily bedtime stories, right? In finance, we call it what is your financial story, right? In the sense that in the finance, the story is okay. Are you meeting your numbers? If you haven't met your numbers, what happened, right? Similarly, HR, what's happening with the attrition? Why is the attrition high? Why is the attrition high? So for everything, there is a story in the sense that what is the narration? What is the justification of why something has happened? Similarly, the storytelling of an entrepreneur is that why have you started this? Right? I know there are multiple entrepreneurs already out here, right? So for them, the reason they have come into this and the reason they would have already built something because they've convinced multiple people, whether it is initial capital, customers, employees, right? So second point is always that you need to tell the story right and you need to be a great storyteller. I think these things will come in the slides as well. But I want to really dumb it down to 4 simple points mainly for the aspiring entrepreneur, right? Because for somebody who's studying, certain slides might be too much, but I thought 4 points to take away for them, right? Third point I would say is to attract people. It can be employees, it can be attract people in the sense you need to really convince. So when you are starting something, right, you have an idea, you don't have money, but you should be able to go to somebody who can create that service or a product for you, right? There might be a consulting company who should work and believe in you that you might not be able to give money, but they can do it for you, right? Similarly, there might be some vendors who should support you in the initial stages, whether they might need to give you long credit period, right? Or similarly, employees, it keeps happening, right? A lot of employees work without salaries for years, right? So the point I'm trying to say here is you need to attract people. Otherwise, there is no way people are going to come and work with you, come and work for you, come and work along with you as a consultant or as a customer, believe in your product to start with, right? So attracting people is third most important thing. The fourth and final one, I think that's the reason why we are doing this session, is that you need to be literate in finance, right? So I keep receiving these messages or I keep receiving this statement saying that finance is too technical. I don't know what the technicality is, but people keep saying that it's technical. I can't get it, right? So I was interacting with one lady entrepreneur, and she's an entrepreneur herself into it some like last 5 years. And she was responding to my message saying that Sriram, I don't know why, but finance never gets into my life. Right? So I keep telling this that you don't have an option if you're starting something, even if you have a co-founder who's taking care of finance and you don't take care of it. But guys, there is no option. You better understand what finance is. There is no option. You can't say that I don't know. You're taking a responsibility of starting something on your own, because I'm telling you why, because you depend upon some accountant to tell you what the profitability is, some finance guy telling you what is happening. But end of the day, there are thousands or hundreds or lakhs of employees who depends on you in the future, right? So you are a responsible person, and a lot of livelihoods, a lot of careers are built upon what you are doing for them. Now, because you don't understand finance, something happens to the organization, then it's your credibility at stake. So what I always want to tell any of the entrepreneurs whom I meet, please understand finance. You don't have an option. We can reduce the stress, but you have to understand finance. So anybody who don't understand finance, please raise your hands. Okay? I think others are lying. Raise your hands very.
What do you mean exactly by finance?
Sorry?
What do you mean exactly by the word finance?
Finance is how to run your business, in the sense that you need to know your profitability, you need to know what is your business plan, you need to know how much money you're going to make, you need to know what should be your pricing, you need to know what should be your costs. Finance from an entrepreneur's perspective is that you should know what is happening in your business. How much money do you need in the future?
Already it is there, these are the things. So it is a forecast which I want to become, like I want to launch a product. So it's only estimated counts.
Correct. But not a lot of entrepreneurs understand that. So maybe you might be experienced, but I'm saying there are at least I've come across multiple people who struggle to envision it. So I think that's what I'm trying to say. That it's important to kind of convince yourself that you need to learn that. Yeah. Okay. So with that context, I would like to just run through some slides, guys. So then there would have been enough discussions about it, but I think I'll tell you why I'm talking about it. Each of your startup idea will go through 4 stages. One is in an idea stage, where you kind of understand the problem, identify the solution for it, and you should also understand the customer persona. But at an idea stage, okay, at an idea stage, I think there are a couple of things you guys need to keep in mind. One, I always suggest that you need to do a lot of research before you move to the stage from an idea stage to an MVP, right? When I say research, understand whatever idea you have. First of all, I see a lot of people having ideas somewhere like an angel, right? It revolves around your head. But I think an idea should be articulated into a proper document somewhere in your book or a laptop or whatever it is. I think when you convert that an idea into a proper articulation, right? Into when you start writing it, I think a lot of clarity will come. And I've done it myself. I have multiple thoughts when I started my own enterprise 7 years back. I want to do everything under finance, but then once I started writing what is the opportunity in each of these areas, I found I got a lot of answers where what I should avoid, what I should kind of pursue. So during the idea stage, you should articulate whatever is coming to your mind in a lot more detailed way. Number two, I would say you need to do a lot of research because I think a couple of days back I attended a session wherein 30 engineering students somewhere in Kochi, Kerala have submitted some idea on clean energy about their idea, and then we went through 30 of them, and at least 7 or 8 of them I've seen some companies already existing, right? I mean, why I'm trying to say this is at an idea stage, before you start spending a lot of time, you should at least try researching. I mean, these days, all you can do is simply ask ChatGPT, it's going to answer, right? We don't need to really do too much of a research. Life is becoming easy day by day. It's going to improve further as well. So ensure that you do enough research in the idea stage, right? So of course, there are multiple other points which we can cover in the future, but 2 big points I want to say there at an idea stage is that articulate your idea well, so that once you convert into a proper strategy document, I think it gives you a lot more clarity, right? Second one is about doing research. MVP, most viable product. I think one of the things, especially this happens. No, nothing bad about engineers, but at least as a finance guy, whenever I interact with multiple innovators who are specifically engineers, they kind of try not to connect too many times with the market. They want to keep churning out new ideas, churning out new products. But I think feedback is one thing I always tell that okay, you need to keep correcting the first viable product from a market feedback point of view. I mean, this happened in one of the startup where we are trying to raise funds. What happened? They are a food tech IoT company. They are trying to create one product. We have been trying to raise funds for them, and I asked him, boss, when is the last time you did a market survey, right? Because when you're trying to become a product company, you always need to do survey in the market. That is one of the best things you can validate your idea. Otherwise, it's always in isolation, right? Isn't it? So I asked him, when did you last spoke or did a market study? He said 1.5 years back. And investors kept asking the same thing as well, but unfortunately, he never did a revised dip check about the product. What is the customer feedback? But till now, he hasn't got funded, right? He's still struggling. of course, I know we have a lot of smart people out here, but my feedback, just a pointer here from a startup perspective is that don't work in isolation. And if you have any of the customer personas whom you think you can interact with, keep getting the feedback, because it's your lifetime investment into your idea, where you get into. I mean, you want to put all your savings out there. There's a lot of time as well, right? Your time is money, so ensure that you kind of uh, get feedback from respective users. Keep iterating that. That's most important point. Pilot, again, my takeaway in many of my interactions is that, so during the pilot stage, a lot of customers or clients give a feedback, and but important thing there is revenue generation, right? Now I don't see many paid pilots happening. So the pilots are always happen for free, but commercialization during the pilot phase is the most important thing. That's where you can really validate the monetization of your idea, right? Because the fourth stage is where the product market fit is, right? But pilot is the phase where MVP talks about the idea validation, but pilot is where you can really test whether the customer or user can pay for the idea what you have, right? So that's where you can really think how is the value. That's where you can always test your various pricing methods, right? Where the customer is willing to pay this, whether I can reduce something, increase something. All of those things can happen in the pilot stage. And product market fit is where the scaling will happen, right? Because unless the product market fit happens, I think you're always in a dicey state wherein you keep trying multiple times. But product market fit, once it reaches, then you're going to move to the next stage. Okay. Any thoughts or reflections on this slide? I think if you can ask some questions, I think others will be able to reflect.
Product market mix.
Product market fit. Okay. So product market fit means that if you have created something, here you're creating in isolation, right? You're doing some research. You're going to create something and test with certain people and get their feedback. And here the iteration about the commercial monetization, all those things will happen. Yeah. Huh? Sure. So product market fit is where you validate, you get all your ideas properly captured, right? And you would have iterated the pricing, you would have iterated the product, and you're ready to go to the next. That's what. Yeah. Yeah. So let me quickly walk through this on certain aspects. I don't want to spend too much time here, but this is the whole landscape of finance when I say finance. But at an initial stage, you need to take care of basic compliances, right? When you're kind of solidifying your idea, then you start or even convert some of your ideas into proper framework. Then you need to start forming a company, right? Because why do you form a company? Then for you to either raise funds from banks, raise funds from your friends. Because if it is a firm or an LLP, it's a different thing. But you need to form a private limited company to raise funds, right? Then you need to take care of the compliances. Other four layers are basically as the company progresses, all these layers will become important. But considering, I think majority of the crowd here are kind of early stage or even idea stage entrepreneurs or even aspiring entrepreneurs. I don't want to really spend too much of time, but processes generally takes care of it. Once you start moving towards an idea even from the earlier slide to moving towards a PMF stage, is where you will have a lot of people in the company and you will have a lot of transactions. So that's where you need to ensure that there are processes in the company. Business model generally takes care of the unit economics. That's the critical part of your idea or the company, where you look at what should be the profitability, what should be the working capital requirement, and all of that. Financial planning relates to your forecasting, wherein you're saying like, okay, I can reflect on the past, but yes, I know how to do forecasting as well. But it helps you to plan the future. This is where you can really understand how each of these will help. If something is changing, let's say there's a price change in the market, how can it impact my business and all of that. At the top, you will have how you need to manage board and manage board and reviews and all of that. So that's more from a governance perspective, right? So let me spend little time in this slide wherein this kind of a framework will help you to convert your idea or startup or your enterprise into a detailed way wherein you can capture two things, right? One is on the strategy. When I say strategy, initially I told, right? So you have an idea, you need to start writing into a document. So a strategy, business strategy document will really help you to how you can convert each of your thoughts with respect to whether how you are going to market your product or a service, how you are going to operationalize it, right? Not only next 6 months, but as the company grows, how can I really expand in the future? Let's say currently I'm serving 10 customers, but when the customer base increases to 10,000, how are you going to scale? So operational strategy will really help you to really expand and understand how much money you're going to need in the future because that's very critical. This is operational, but unless you don't have a strategy in place, you'll not be able to convert that into your plan, right? So operational strategy always deals with how do you run the business at scale, right? So that you'll be able to think that. Org structure again, even though it's a large word, but in the initial phases, I think one founder does everything. But once you start becoming a 50 member team, then what happens is you structure and multiple things. Right? Have a separate HR team, operations team, sales. You might not be taking care on your own. Maybe you have to focus on the investors. Let's say you're taking care of the sales, something needs to own the execution. So structure, hiring and organization structure should have that as well in mind. Financing strategy, everything doesn't come with equity, guys. I think it's always important to look at how are you going to fund it, what is the way. So if it is a manufacturing company, always you can not only the equity, but you can take term loans from the banks. So based on the business model, you should really understand the financing strategy of your company. Think economies of scale in the sense that okay, at what scale, because all business plans or financial plans work on a stepwise model, right? So you will have you'll have economies of scale after crossing certain volume. I think operationally, what we are trying to say is each business plan should be, I mean, based on key assumptions. You need to understand how you build your revenue, right? Variable costs and all of that. But from a framework perspective, what we are saying is if you get your strategy right in each of those aspects, you'll be able to build a detailed business plan in the future. If these, what we're trying to say here is how do you really build your revenue plan? Each of your company must be in any of these kind of ideas, right? I mean, any of these kind of buckets, whether it's a project-based company or a SaaS company or a manufacturing company. So it's not that every company, I mean, all the companies have a single kind of a assumption to build your plan, right? So each kind of a company will have different assumptions or different drivers to understand. If you're starting a SaaS company, the things works differently. If you're doing a manufacturing company, then it works in a different way. So what we're trying to say here is see where your company or your idea is going to sit in, and based on that, you need to build your plan. Yeah. 5 minutes, yeah, sure. Okay. So this is another slide where what we are trying to say is not only equity everywhere, but you should be able to try multiple ways to cover multiple ways to raise funds. So one is, of course, equity. All of us know how to. I mean, equity is the foremost lot of things. But there are a lot of grants available as well. Basis your idea, basis your product, basis your industry you're working in. You should be able to apply for grants in whether to government or maybe there are multiple incubators who focus and help companies mainly on the product development side. Then convertible notes or convertible debentures are the structures where people you can't. One of the areas where people struggle is that they'll not be able to valuate the company. Right? So when the company valuation is not possible, what is the kind of structure you can raise money? These two are debt and revenue-based financing is always used when the company is growing, so not necessarily relevant in this. Okay, so when you're raising funds from investors, there are certain things which investors always like, right? Look at. So I want to really touch upon these 9 points where people can really, uh, investors will be definitely look at. So one is how strong is the founding team? How strong are you? How strong are your execution capabilities? Second one is from your idea to monetization. When I say monetization, start generating revenue. So how far does it take? So how long does it take? Third one, I think we talked about it during the MVP slide, right? So how are you validating their feedback loop if you're correcting your product or idea? And how agile is your service or a product wherein things will change overnight with inventions in AI specifically? How agile is your idea where how you can change yourself? Size of the opportunity is always interesting to investors because whether your product or service is applicable only in Vizag or only in the state or in India or across the globe, right? So the size of the product, size of the, the use case always impacts. Scalability is another thing what people will look at. How can you really scale it? Doing at the level of 10 is always easy, but once you increase it to 10,000, how are you going to do it? Then we spoke about you need to be a good storyteller. That's very important for a sales guy because you can't say that I'll hire a sales guy and increase the revenue of the company. Never think that, right? As a CEO, as a founder of the company, you need to be a great seller as well. That's what investors know. Of course, capital required over time and strong unit economics are a couple of things investors will always look at. Yeah.
Thank you for the insightful session, sir. We can now open the floor for questions for a 5-minute Q&A if you have any questions for sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, based on my recent interactions with startups, I've observed that most of the founders are from a technical background, so they're not very well versed with finance. So, once they have started the startup, a chunk of their time is going with regulations, compliances, and finance stuff, and they don't get that much time to dedicate on it and technical end. So, how important is it to have a founder who is from a financial background? Since the other alternative is to depend on external stakeholders for their financial needs.
So there are two things here, right? Compliance is one thing which you should know what should see. I keep telling entrepreneurs that you don't require more than half a day in the month to know your finance status or to take care of your compliance. All the entrepreneurs need to know is what are the compliances, is someone taking care of it. The founder doesn't need to sit and do it, right? Similarly, to understand the finances, to know the status of previous month, to know the status of the last 1 quarter, all he needs to do is somebody is taking care of it, but he has to be reviewing it. I'm not telling that the finance job has to be done by them. They have to be aware of the finance matters, and they should spend quality time reviewing what is happening. That's the correction in it. I don't think I've seen founders struggling to manage the books and all of that. All I'm saying is they can find a great partner, but he should invest time in looking at it. And there are like various checklists available. What are the things you need to look at? But having a great partner or a good advisor or a good firm who takes care of it, but a founder needs to ensure that they spend quality time once in a month, at least 1 day maximum. It's more than enough to assess things.
Anybody else with any questions?
One more thing.
Yes, sir.
How to approach a sponsor for fundraising?
So what kind of a sponsor you're
So
saying?
whatever it is, the product if you want to, suppose exhibitions are there, we want a sponsor. So one is doing a business, he wants advertisement or something like that. A newspaper is there, they need advertisements. The sponsorship, how do you raise that sponsor?
So again, you need to understand who supports you, right? You have to identify somebody. So let's take an example to the context. So what is the kind of business you are trying to do?
I'm trying to introduce a product. I have a training hall. I want to introduce a product, a simple product.
Right.
It's named as Trainer Kit.
Right.
This is
So
what
it's
I'm
into training, right? Educational training.
Educational training, simple thing.
So you need to go to, all the educational institutions are the ones who
That
can support.
marketing, what you said, that marketing setup is done.
Right.
So it is as module does 11+1. as a site.
Correct. I'm saying what kind of sponsor. When you say sponsor, what is?
So I want a just kit like this.
Right.
The kit is costing me 200 rupees.
Okay.
So if I have a sponsor of 100 kits, around 20,000.
So that is you're saying somebody to donate.
Donate.
So that is a different thing. So then you need to identify. So a lot of companies have CSR funds, right? Wherein they have to spend money towards well-wishing of the society, right? So approaching CSR funds or approaching large corporates for these things is a good idea. Where you can do. There are edtech companies. There are multiple companies who are in the vicinity. You can approach them. So those are some of the ideas where we can from an NGO perspective. Because you are saying you are looking at somebody who can donate money.
Yes. We want to have a product in the market.
That's
Anyone
a
can
different
use it.
Okay.
Anything?
Do you have presence in Vizag? I noticed it that you are from Bangalore.
No.
What
So
is the services you offer?
I sit out of Vizag.
Uh-huh.
We have a team of around 15 people sitting out of here. You have offices in Bangalore and Hyderabad.
What are some of the services that you offer?
So we call it as a financial advisory company. So right from what shall I say, business valuation, business plan, explaining. So a lot of we work with a lot of early stage entrepreneurs as well in terms of business plan. Large companies we take care of their CFO office. So, but
who have an office at Ahab.
yeah, we do have office at our hub.
Okay.
Somebody had a question there also.
Yeah.
What can we evaluate idea? Product market and the idea stage itself.
You will not be able to. You need to really understand and so tell me an example, then I'll be able to think.
Let's say we are building some digital marketing
What kind of a product?
for anyone. Such as
Okay.
online product.
So firstly, you need to look at whether there are some products, something similar already there, right? So from an idea to move to the other stages, first of all, you need to understand whether any idea has to move to these 4 stages. There's no other option, right? You need to ensure that your idea really converts and creates a proper. So MVP for a service is that you're defining your service and it is logical and customers are ready to buy it or use it. So when you're saying a digital marketing idea, so you have to first of all convert it to proper service, right? So what exactly that service is? Then somebody needs to pay for it. Then you need to ensure that the pricing is correct. Then only you can move to the next. You can jump from 0 to 100. So you have to jump from first of all 0 to 10, then 10 to 100.
Pick one that works. Okay, evaluate it.
You can't evaluate the initial level. So initial level you can evaluate. Okay, you have 10 ideas you want to evaluate. Then you have to evaluate basis the research, basis the opportunity available, basis the success of that. Right. So evaluation of an idea is different. The question was like, how can I convert an idea to a PMF? Right. That cannot happen. You have 10 ideas, then you have a framework to evaluate that. Basis the market size, basis the competitors, basis the opportunity, basis pricing. There are multiple ways. But idea to convert into PMF, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're actually running out of time, but sure.
Yes, sir. How to answer your question?
No. I find this because running startups.
Yeah.
I want consistently change plans, things keep finances, what the projections are not.
Keep changing, yeah.
So, and then you keep pivoting.
Yep.
So you find something changing, some concrete coming.
Yeah.
You have to change your idea. You have to change. First we went like people. So every time you do a business plan, which means redoing your financial plan.
Right.
Everything
Right.
else again goes to a complete recheck or redo the whole thing. But frequent this thing do startup should have a dedicated person doing this, or can something like a CFO?
So, couple of things, sir. I think you brought up a very important point, and we come across day in day out. We come across, right? We deal with like more than 40 startups currently. Okay. Firstly, what I say is at an initial stage, there can be a one-page business plan. So once you pass through the MVP or once you are 6 months into it, you can do a quarterly plan. Then, I mean, as the idea emerges, you do the planning. But answering your question, I think firstly, business plan will keep changing until you reach the standard scale stage, right? Unless you are into a scale stage, study stage, or a BAU, your business plan keeps changing. I would say you need to co-create. Don't leave it completely to a professional. Yes, somebody like CFO firm or any financial advisory firm can do it. But the mistake what I keep seeing in many entrepreneurs is that they delegate business plan. But we do due diligence as well when we validate some investments. We ask them, what about this? They don't have a clue about the business. So what I suggest, what I always and what we do is that we co-create the business plan with the founders so that they know what is happening because business plan is a very dynamic document. There are multiple assumptions on pricing, multiple assumptions on market size, hiring, cost. The cost keeps changing. As you said, pricing keeps changing. Monthly might be a killer, but I always suggest monthly at least in the initial stages, but quarterly business review of your business plan along with your respective team, whoever is taking care is a month. Because you keep pivoting, right? As you said, B2B, B2C, B2C. And one of the things always people struggle is like they need to understand the runway of it, looking at their cash flow forecast, how long they survive, can they survive, what are the various ways they can sustain without dying. So all these things can be evaluated with a proper financial plan. So I think you brought a very interesting point, but I'm saying that it has to be constantly evaluated. Otherwise, as I said, it kind of evolves on the top like an emoji, right? So there's something at the top evolving, but it doesn't.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure the audience here were educated something or the other about finance. Thank you for your time. While Sir was explaining about equity and other sources of fund, I just wanted to mention that AHAV now has a grant vertical where we help and mentor startups in getting grants from the government. Very soon, we're going to launch our own grant program as well. Stay tuned on the website and our LinkedIn for that information. But meanwhile, if you need any guidance with respect to receiving or raising any funds through grant programs, our office is always open. Now we're moving ahead to the next part of the forum, which is the startup pitch. I would like to invite Ms. Reshma Jain. She's here to pitch about her startup Eureka. Ma'am, you have 10 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Reshma Jain, and I'm a journalist based in Visakhapatnam. So, directly coming to the point, so the problem statement here is there is a pressing need for a platform which covers and amplifies the voice of the voiceless. So, by this I mean that when I was working with the mainstream media, the human interest stories or stories of the marginalized communities was something where the media was not giving a space. So that is when I realized after 6 years of experience that there needs to be a platform which voices the voiceless, which brings the marginalized communities to the fore, which also brings human interest stories and the hidden stories not only in India but across the world. So that comes to the problem statement where we have a platform which amplifies the voices of marginalized communities and individuals, addressing the lack of representation and empathy in mainstream media. So this makes me come to this point that the findings of underrepresentation across multiple studies emphasize the need for increased diversity and inclusion in mainstream media. So I'm sure here most of you would be consuming a lot of digital media and less of the print media. So even in the digital medium, we have a lot of underrepresented communities. By here, which I mean that we have communities like the LGBT. We have communities where the voices are still suppressed because there is lack of empathy, there is lack of space, and multiple and one major factor here is lack of financial in India that do constructive journalism. So here by constructive journalism, I mean to say stories which bring about an impact. So when I was working with the mainstream media, there were a couple of stories that I wrote and where people read about it and there was significant impact which was made. This is what made me come up with my own platform where I would bring stories across India, write about them, and probably connect them to people who are interested to help them. So it's just been 4 to 5 months that I've launched something called Eureka, Pearls of Inspiration, and the website is live. We've covered almost 30 stories till now, and all these stories are inspiring. There are also hidden gems, which by which I mean that there are people who are doing really good work, but the mainstream media doesn't capture it, and we are here to do that. So, what does Eureka do? We shine a light on the voices and experiences of people and communities whose stories have been marginalized, just like the way I mentioned it. We also foster inspiring conversations that can bring about positive change in the world. So, on Eureka, we've done a couple of interviews. Like I've interviewed Mithali Raj, PV Sindhu, and also people from Bollywood and Tollywood. And this is because we want to spread some pearls of inspiration, that is, you never know which point would actually strike a balance for yourself. So when we had interviewed Mithali Raj and PV Sindhu, the points that we brought to the fore was how sports can actually play an important role in our healthy lives, and also um, on how rural girls, especially girls in the rural India, can find a career in sports. So these are the kind of insights we actually bring out. We have also done interviews with world number one badminton players. We have also done with some corporate people who also give us a lot of insights if entrepreneurs also want to expand their business. So the topics covered by Eureka are varied. We have from inspiring tales to motivational series, and also from the corporate sector. And the third part is we are also into organizing events that bring marginalized people together to amplify their voices. So by this I mean that not only do we bring stories to the fore, but after bringing the stories, we try organizing one or two events and we raise funds and then use that amount to cater to the needs of these underprivileged or the marginalized communities. We have just done one event 3 months ago, and we had helped 10 underprivileged girls and women from Visakhapatnam, and this was through an fundraiser musical concert that we had organized. So this is how the platform looks like. So this is a world in which every person's story is heard and valued, and in which inspiring conversations can unite people. Yeah, so the white space here is that the same point that I mentioned, because communities like the LGBT communities, the wheelchair, and also the people from say handicap, the people who are handicapped. So all these, there are handicapped people who are very talented, who are national dancers, who are international dancers, but still the stories don't come to the fore. So that is where we are trying to give them a platform. So the vision is to capture the excitement and energy of a moment of realization or breakthrough through stories, conversations, and events. So basically, Eureka means in Greek it means I found it. So that is the reason the name here Eureka is about finding stories and inspiring tales. So coming to the total addressable market, just 2 days ago there was this report from the Reuters Institute which said that there is a sharp decrease in access to online news, and globally platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram are gaining ground as sources of information among the youth. I'm sure all of you would agree with me, and our consumption, the content consumption comes mostly from YouTube, and the other mediums like the video and audio based mediums, like now with podcasts are trending. So I think gone are the days where we would actually flip through the pages of a newspaper and read reports. So it's mostly the video and the audio content. And as we all know, COVID-19 has made us more hooked to the digital medium. And here there's a short presentation about what are the various sectors. So here the problem is, the unprecedented state of media, and we are here to fix it through the digital media service. We have an addressable market. We also have value addition in the form of impactful services, and then we have a competent team that executes and delivers. Well, just brushing through the KPIs. The first is the reach and audience size. That is, we measure the platform's audience size, including now since the website is live, we've also got a couple of good subscribers, and also the potential number of individuals who are actually interested to learn more about the unheard stories. And then we also have the content engagement. We have media coverage and recognition. Yes, and collaborations and partnerships is again a point where we are focusing on, because this is somewhere which adds a lot of credibility to the platform. We have collaborated with a couple of NGOs, with a couple of organizations, and also corporates to execute these kind of events where the underprivileged communities get a lot of help. And of course, the last one is the story impact. Now, how do we measure the story impact? Is one small example where we had covered a story of a blind couple, and the story was published on our website. There was one of a reader who had connected to me, and just keeping the story very short. So the way it was presented is something that he liked, and he got in touch, and the couple has two daughters. So one of the daughter was adopted by that person. So this is the kind of impact that we wish to create through this platform. These are just a couple of associations we have done for our projects. This makes me come to the end of my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. We can now open the floor for questions for 5 minutes.
So, is it a NGO or a social institution with a revenue model, or is it for you? And how will you sustain? Because I don't see money coming in.
Part where we would be getting some revenue. And the second part would be we have plans of coming up with an e-magazine. So where we will be also covering the CSR funding, where people from the corporates, the CSR projects, and we will also be coming up with a magazine called The Voice, The Voiceless.
Largely donations and sponsorships.
Yes.
That's how you want to sustain. You should look into where the valuations now clearly are looking at how your story shutters or not. Probably know what.
Yes.
So something like that. But purely in this only because the sustenance of this, of course, would on our because donors and sponsors have become very demanding back outcomes. They just don't give you time. That becomes very convincing them. And there's a crunch. There's just like on the website at the bottom, you would see that there is a cry or some other NGOs giving stories of people in a bad state, like son or daughter with cancer, somebody with cancer last day. So many out of that, then trying to get into the space and talk. Might be difficult, but sustain.
True.
Maybe have something which is a regular revenue generating model, feeding it to sustain. And just everybody. It's free. So.
Thank you for that. We can take one more question.
Catch up with you later. I missed the first few slides.
But basically, picking up stories from marginalized stuff. It's just that only.
So the question I had as you're ending your presentation was, what was your sources of information? How do you capture these stories?
Well, since I was with the mainstream media for a couple of years, that's how I've developed my network. And that is how I keep connecting to people. And now people also approach, stating, or they connect. By reading through multiple sources, also we get connected to people. And social media is one great platform where we read and connect with people. So LGBT was one such community which I just started with one, and then I got connected with a lot of activists across the world. So when they knew we were doing something like that, this automatically happened.
You should stay back. You know the Be There Done That.
Yes, I've heard about it.
So probably today's event, just stay back and see how it happens.
Sure.
Then probably host a show.
Sure.
That the reach is larger. Again, it continues from 6 to 8, same day. So after that, 30 minutes break, then we start. You have time, I think you should. So he handles that show. Same stuff, but different viewers group or different say audience as well as the target group. It's very similar format.
Anyone else? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Before we close the forum, we have an open mic session. To encourage innovative ideas from the audience, anyone with ideas are welcome to share. I would like to remind everybody that the audience, to be respectful of those expressing their ideas, let's help them feel more confident with the feedback that is encouraging. Anybody with any ideas that they would like to share can take the stage now.
Anybody can share, right? There are a couple of people who are sitting in for this session. They believe it. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Devlina and I am from Venture Development Center, Geetham. So I would like to invite you all to our upcoming event which is called Smart Ideathon 2023. It is a national level event that we are conducting in collaboration with Startup India, Northeastern University of Center of Entrepreneurship Education, Northeastern University Center for Emerging Markets. It is a national level pitching competition for all current UG and PG students. So this time what we are doing is we are also encouraging student ideas which are just in their ideation stage. So it is okay if you are in your advanced ideation, if you are doing your customer insights, all of you are welcome to take part in the event. The event is going to be held in Hyderabad on 24th and 25th of August. We are currently focusing on 4 themes for the event, which is food and health, toys for STEM, sustainable fashion, and frugal innovation. So if your idea falls into any idea that you have which falls into any of the 4 categories or themes, please feel free to register. And the format that goes is we'll be selecting our semi-finale teams who will be completely sponsored their trip to Hyderabad. The prize money for the Fundraising event is up to 30 lakhs of cash and grants, and the winner team and the runner-up team will also get a fully and a partly sponsored trip to Boston as well to attend the Boston Entrepreneurship Week. So I would really want that, if somebody has an idea, you guys are working on it, please feel free to register. We would love to see more and more, participation from your end, because And last year also it was a national level event, and we had received a lot of entries all across India, including 28 states and 4 union territories. So we would really want to see all of you be there and help us make this. It's for you honestly. So we would really appreciate if you all can participate. Last date is 25th June is the last day to apply. So I'll share the details with one of you. I'll put the brochure. Yeah, poster and the link and everything. So they can. Thank you everyone.
Someone is from another country.
No, this time we are limiting it only to
For a
Indian
student of honesty, but he's from Nepal.
Yeah,
He's asking for the citizenship of the person. But we have about 1,000 international students right here. Can they apply?
Yeah, no, currently we're only looking at Indian citizenship students. That's one thing. I'll share the details with you all. You can just go on our website and look for the eligibility criteria. Okay, yes. No, it is currently it's unfortunate it's only for Indian citizenship students for now.
Thank you.
I'm by Hakumar. We are going to conduct one
Yellow color poster.
by the IL Lab Organization and Eureka, all lady entrepreneurship association of India. So, which is going to conduct.
I think I think
So, I'm by Hakumar. We are going to conduct one entrepreneurship development program at Vizag City from Monday onwards, which is organized by the ILO, International Lab Organization, SIYP, and Elite, all lady entrepreneurs association of India. So, whoever wants to participate in this program, so please take my number and register the program. So actually 30 out of 27 registrations over, so 3 more left. So if anybody interested for this workshop, who is eligible means anyone who are going to start business. So we will give the clear idea about the business. So what type of business means business plan, idea generation, and so greening the business, and also full 8 days workshop is for this. So this is very important, especially we are government free of cost, totally free of cost. So who are attending that particular program from 9:30 to 5 o'clock. They have to be. Telugu.
Where is it being?
Bottle green. Bottle green.
Are you able to see American corner written on the
next Monday?
From coming Monday.
Get into that building. Get into that building to the American corner.
If you are interested, please take my number and we will conduct one interview. So you are suitable of that program or not. That is after that we will. So we will provide material, everything, and ILO certificate also you can get it. How can you get the bank loans also? We will support that. Elite organization will support it. So please take my phone number. If you really interest, please approach. 863-998-1265. 863-998-1265. The complete 8 days workshop and total morning 9 to evening 5 వరకు ఉండాలి. సో మధ్యలో ఒక రోజు కూడా స్కిప్ అవ్వడానికి లేదు. కంప్లీట్ గా మీరు ఉన్నట్లయితే 100% we will give the certificate everything. Totally free of cost. Actually registration 27 for complete అయితే free registration. సో free registration కోసం మేము రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం. Anybody interested candidate. So want to going to establish within 3 months or 6 months going to establish. So please comment. 863-998-1265 sir. 1265. So today evening or tomorrow morning 9 o'clock. So otherwise we will conduct selection first. So it is totally depending on the three organizations, especially ILO, PhilIP, and SAY. So it's a free of cost program. It's always good for the. Thank you so much.
Anybody else who would like to share some ideas or anything? Alright, I will take. We are almost at the end of the forum. I would like to thank everybody for their participation. Before we close the forum, there are a few announcements that we have to make. Our next Startup Saturday will be on July 1st, and this is going to be our 25th session. So there are great things planned about the event, filled with networking and learning. Dinesh, can you tell us more about the event?
Hello everyone. Firstly, I thank you everyone for we have completed 1 year of Startup Saturday. We have completed 1 year of Startup Saturdays. We started last year in June. We have completed 24 sessions till now. We are aiming up to our 25th session. It's like launching our event poster or something like that. We are planning it in a big way where we are inviting all the entrepreneurial forums in and around Vizag. So it's going to be the biggest networking event in Vizag. So for this, I request everyone to make your schedules free and attend the session, and as well, if anyone like to volunteer us for this event, are welcome. And the next anybody who like anybody who like to launch the product in this forum are also welcome. We have only limited registrations for it. We'll soon share the details and everything into the groups and as well. So,
any pricing of the launch product?
We have to decide on that. We'll, according to the registrations, we will finalize it.
Registration is
yeah.
Cost entry is
we need to decide on that. We'll let you know. For the event, we don't have any entry fee. For the product launch, we may decide on that. And the most important thing for pulling off this big event, we need sponsorships. Anyone is interested in getting sponsors, and anyone have great connections are always welcome, and to support us with the sponsorship so that we can pull it off with them in a grand manner, so that we can pull it off.
Please.
It's in Andhra University. We'll decide upon the venue as well.
Additionally, if you're not a part of the Startup Saturday group, you can get in touch with Dinesh and he will add you in the group. Yeah, we are almost at the end of the session. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. We'll take a group picture right now. So, if all of you can come towards the stage.
Snacks around.